616 in LA is a time capsule more than it is anything, bruh. And what I mean by time capsule was the fact that we weren't supposed to understand everything about that song during the battle. It was placed there for the future, I feel like. For the fact that Kendrick Lamar knew that certain moments and certain events and information that will eventually be revealed would uncover what he was saying within the song. I also think that some of the song is on a if you know, you know. We're going to keep that between me and you type of energy as well. But there will be events that expose exactly what Kendrick Lamar is getting across within the song. And I know this because every time we think we fully understand this song, another event, more information is revealed, and then we find out we actually got to go back and dissect this song again. And the most recent example was what we talk about in part 1, which if you haven't seen part 1, definitely go check that out after this video. But we end up finding out that Drake is connected to PR firms that push smear campaigns onto other celebrities using lies, false narratives, and all types of wild stuff. The difference between part 1 and part 2, which is the main reason you should stay to the end of this video, is the fact that in part 1, all we did was talk about the surface level stuff. And I know that sounds crazy for everybody that's seen part 1, but that's all we really did. We provided the evidence that shows you Drake is connected to a PR firm that got caught getting ready to put out a smear campaign on somebody using lies and false narratives. In part 2, we're going to break down what that really looks like. And metaphorically speaking, based on what that looks like, we're going to take that new lens and see the things that happened in the past from a brand new perspective. I'm telling you, make sure you stay to the duration of this video. You got a low attention span, I don't care. Figure something out. Now, before we get started, like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're new here and especially if you've been here. And if you don't want to subscribe right now, that's cool. But subscribe if you end up enjoying this video, which you probably will, because it's about to get... This video is about to get very surgical. Everybody a thug till them lights pull up, and everybody got a gun until ICE pull up. A middle finger to the president, cause I ain't too impressed. How the fuck you kicking niggas out? Ain't you niggas guess? So
there's a PR firm that reps two people in particular, and it's interesting to watch these two people put things out there in the ecosystem to control the narratives about things.
When Kendrick says your little memes are losing steam, they figured you out, the forced opinions is not convincing, y'all need a new route. Of course he's talking to Drake, right? But now I'm starting to think that he was also talking to somebody else, and that somebody else is Melissa Nathan. And we're gonna learn a lot about Melissa Nathan. As a matter of fact, we can't understand anything that we're gonna talk about later without understanding who Melissa Nathan is and her whole role in this situation. And luckily, my boy Dog Ninja got a whole thread on Twitter, and he's gonna help us break this down. Melissa Nathan, the targeted smear and slander empress of Hollywood. There's a powerful crisis PR operator in Hollywood whose name keeps appearing in lawsuits about online smear campaigns, bot activity, and narrative manipulation. Her name is Melissa Nathan. If you're active on hip-hop Twitter, the tactics being alleged may look very familiar, which is interesting because these are all the things that Kendrick Lamar is talking about in 616 in LA. But let's keep going. Who is Melissa Nathan? Melissa Nathan is a Hollywood crisis PR strategist who spent a decade at Hiltzik Strategies, one of the most powerful reputation management firms in entertainment and politics. She later founded the agency group Tag PR, which we are definitely about to get into. Her clients have included Johnny Depp, Drake, Logan Paul, Justin Baldoni, the Chainsmokers, Donald Trump, and according to DJ Academics, Aiden Ross. She specializes in crisis communications, helping celebrities control media narratives during scandals or lawsuits. Her name is also surfaced in documents connected to, guess who? Jeffrey Epstein, because she worked under Hiltzik when his firm reportedly billed Epstein $25,000 for PR services tied to a 2017 meeting. Reports say her name appeared in billing records related to that work, though her attorney has denied any personal involvement with Epstein. My boy DeVille would say, let's just keep it a legend. And I'm not mad, we will keep it a legend. But what I will show you is this. Melissa Nathan 1000% was the vice president of Hiltzik Strategies. There's nothing to talk about there, okay? And right here, you can see that Hiltzik Strategies, the company in which she's the vice president of, did in fact bill Jeffrey Epstein $25,000. Interesting. But we're just gonna keep it a legend. Now, one thing I had to ask myself is, when did Melissa Nathan decide to branch out and find her own agency, right? And this is what came up when I looked it up. Melissa Nathan founded the agency group Pt.2 in June 2024. The boutique crisis management and communications firm was launched following her departure from Hiltzik Strategies, with backing from Scooter Braun's HYBE America. And when you look down at the bottom, it says, the firm was established to focus on navigating complex public controversies and digital smear campaigns. Interesting. Now that we know when she created the agency, right? I gotta ask myself, why would she create the agency? And you can look at her clients to maybe get a little closer to her intentions. And that's when I look at Drake. What was Drake possibly going through in June 2024 for this to become a thing? And then I realized it. Not Like Us came out a month before. Oh my goodness. So you telling me that Melissa Nathan branched out and created her own agency with Drake as one of the clients a month after Not Like Us came out? Huh. That's interesting. Now, what exactly does a crisis PR firm like Tag PR do? According to their own services page, their work includes narrative development, crafting the story the public sees, media relations, placing stories with journalists and outlets, crisis communications, controlling damage during scandals, SEO reputation management. This one's crazy. Influencing what appears in Google results. Wow. Digital and social strategy, managing online conversations. In other words, shaping the internet narrative around a person or an event. Now, what does that sound like to you over the last 2 years? Them trying to dictate the conversation around Not Like Us, around Euphoria, around Meet the Grams, around the battle in general, and anything that has taken place in relation to the battle afterwards. But we're going to get to all of that soon. And according to multiple lawsuits and reports, these strategies can allegedly extend into planting negative stories, influencing online discourse, coordinated social media messaging, search engine manipulation. The goal isn't just good press. The goal is controlling the dominant narrative. Oh my goodness. And this is according to their own services page, as you can see right here. What we do: managing and narrative development, media relations, crew communication management, media training, search engine optimization and support, internal and stakeholder communications, digital and social strategy. And ironically, I have a live with DeVille where I'm actually breaking down a page that is probably a part of this whole entire thing. Check this out. This page is using insider information to gain trust from people on Twitter and then use this account to spread narratives throughout the year. And there's a bunch of these pages all over the place. And I think when they do things like what you're talking about, like setting up things where people are where they can start to really build cases on people before they even start the rollout of how they're going to defame them, right? Like you said.
Yeah.
You can't make it believable unless you have pages like this pushing it. Now, I'm going to read y'all this part of the thread, and you tell me this ain't exactly what you're seeing right now. Multiple lawsuits in Hollywood have alleged that Tag PR and associates used aggressive online reputation tactics, including planting negative media stories about targets. Interesting. Creating anonymous or third-party websites spreading allegations. That reminds me, we'll talk about that later. SEO manipulation to push damaging content higher in search results. Coordinating social media messaging to amplify certain narratives, fake or impersonation accounts linking back to those stories. For example, in one court filing tied to a dispute involving entertainment executives, digital forensic analysis allegedly found networks of smear websites, fake profiles, and dozens of low-quality backlinks designed to game search engines. Oh my goodness. Another lawsuit involving the film It Ends With Us, including text messages discussing strategies to flip the narrative, plant stories in media outlets, and shift online conversation away from damaging allegations. This is quite literally explaining everything that you are seeing right now and that you have seen for 2 years. Important, these are claims made in legal complaints and the cases are still being contested. Facts, keep it alleged. But the tactics described in those filings paint a picture of how modern reputation warfare can operate online. Now, the one thing I want y'all to keep in mind is the fake websites pushing out false narratives. Because that reminds me of something. Fake websites pushing false narratives. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk about that soon. Now, some of y'all are probably like, how in the hell is she getting away with this? But the answer is not necessarily. Several lawsuits and reports have tied Melissa Nathan and her firm Tag PR to alleged online reputation campaigns involving multiple high-profile figures. Blake Lively claims in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni allege a PR strategy to flip the narrative and shift online discourse against her. Amanda Ghost, court filings reference alleged plans to create damaging online content and anonymous websites. We were just talking about this. Minhee Jin, a lawsuit claims smear sites, fake profiles, and SEO campaigns targeted the K-pop executive during her dispute with HYBE. Interesting. Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us controversy. Text messages and filings discuss shaping media coverage and social narratives. Oh my goodness. And now you can look at some of these articles right here. It's the alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively tied to Rebel Wilson's legal battle over the dead. And we talked about that in part 1. Definitely go watch that after this video. Then you got court reveals alleged online smear campaign against Minhee Jin linked to HYBE acquired US PR firm. Interesting, right? Then you go to this right here. Shared tactics and smear campaigns against women. The smear campaigns against Blake Lively and Meghan Markle revealed the interconnected networks of PR firms and media willing to vilify high-profile women at the expense of others. Both cases highlight the exploitation of public perception through misinformation and manipulation, a disturbing trend in industries from Hollywood to the British monarchy. PR consultant Melissa Nathan, sister of journalist Sarah Nathan, allegedly orchestrated a campaign to bury Blake Lively by spreading false narratives, suppressing positive stories, and overwhelming social media with negative threads. This connection between the sister raises serious ethical concerns, as Sarah Nathan has been instrumental in driving the Meghan Markle smear campaign using similar tactics. Both cases relied on saturating the media with biased articles while silencing supportive voices, making it clear that these coordinated efforts are far from coincidental. So clearly here, there's already been a whole bunch of, people recognizing what Melissa Nathan is doing, and even down to her sister. So this isn't just a hip hop thing. This has been a thing across all different types of areas in this entertainment thing. Now, when I see this, I start thinking about Michael Eric Dyson, academics, Gilly the Kid, and all that different stuff, but we'll get to that very soon, okay? Modern crisis PR doesn't just happen in press releases anymore. It operates across the entire information ecosystem at once. Media placement, getting specific narratives into major outlets, search engine influence, pushing certain stories to the top of Google results, social media amplification, coordinated posting that makes a narrative trend, forum seeding, Reddit, blogs, and gossip sites introducing stories that later spread to larger platforms, algorithm flooding, repeating a narrative across dozens of accounts until it dominates timelines. This is sometimes called narrative saturation. Once the same storyline appears across media articles, social posts, and search results, it begins to look organic and widely accepted, even if it started as a coordinated strategy. And you see this in the fact that they keep repeating these narratives to break down the battle and to break down the perception of the battle for 2 years straight. Okay? In an era where online perception can move markets, careers, and reputations, controlling the narrative has become one of the most powerful tools in modern PR. Now step back and look at hip-hop Twitter for a second, because the tactics described in these lawsuits look very similar to patterns we see during major rap discourse. Brand new accounts suddenly appearing to push identical talking points, facts. You see all these random bot accounts that get these thousands of views and boom, boom, all quote tweeting something and saying it simultaneously. Coordinated quote tweet pile-ons within minutes of a narrative forming. Reddit and forum threads that later get amplified across X. SEO optimized blogs and gossip sites pushing the same headline, facts, to dominate the conversation. Algorithm flooding so no one narrative dominates search and timelines. Within hours, the discourse can flip from neutral, overwhelming negative to an artist. In PR and political communications, this is also called astroturfing, creating the illusion of organic public opinion through coordinated online activity. That's what they tried to do in the battle. This is exactly what Kendrick is talking about in 616 in LA, and that's why I know he's not just talking to Drake. Okay? And if you spend time on hip-hop Twitter during major rap beats or scandals, you've probably seen how quickly a narrative can suddenly feel everywhere. Facts. Think about how many things look completely different now that we understand what is really going on out here. Shout out to my boy Dog Ninja for the thread. You feel what I'm saying? Go follow him on Twitter. Go support that thread. But now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this goddamn video.
Your little means is losing steam. They figured you out. The first opinions is not convincing. I need a new route.
But let me tell you some game, cause I can see you, my lil homie. You playing dirty with propaganda, it blow up on you. You playing nerdy with Zach Bia and Twitter bots, but your reality can't hide behind Wi-Fi. Your little memes is losing steam. They figured you out. The forced opinions is not convincing. Y'all need a new route. Now I want you to really look at everything that we just got done talking about and revisit these lines, right? Initially, when we hear this stuff, we thinking DJ Academics and all these guys, when in reality, Kendrick is more than likely speaking to a bigger conglomerate, right? I think he is talking about the PR firm. I think he is talking to Melissa Nathan, because think about it. The forced opinions is not convincing. Y'all need a new route, right? I think Kendrick Lamar is aware of who Drake is working with in order to put out this smear campaign against him, right? And this is where I start to have another question. When he says the forced opinions is not convincing, y'all need a new route, this insinuates that this has been a thing. This is something that Drake has been doing. That asks the question, how long has he been doing it? How long has he been working with Melissa Nathan? How long have these been the tactics under Drake's belt? Because if he's been working with her longer than 2024, which most people will assume he just did it because Not Like Us was doing damage and now he's trying to get back at Kendrick. If he's been working with her longer than that, who has he been using these tactics against? And if we go back and do research on those moments, can we see the patterns of what we just learned in those moments? That's exactly what we're about to do. Now, a very rare article that I had never seen before was sent to me by this account, Mirror. Shout out to Mirror. I appreciate you. Everything that you're about to read was sent to me by this account. And ironically, it answers the very question that we're talking about here. It provides some other information that honestly, I don't even need to go over. I just want to show y'all so y'all know exactly when Drake started to work with Melissa Nathan. Now, clearly you can see that this article was written on August 13, 2015. What does that mean? This article was written a decade ago. And the headline is about Drake's PR issues, clearly. Okay, so let's move forward. Attempts to reach Aubrey through Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, where he's the Toronto Raptors global ambassador, and Universal Music Canada have been unsuccessful. But I was contacted Wednesday by his publicist. Who could have been his publicist in 2015? Who, instead of commenting on the carnage, expressed dismay at my columns about it. Let's move forward. Especially your column Tuesday, said Melissa Nathan. Oh my goodness. Who says she's represented Drake for 2 years. Time out. Time out. So you telling me this article was written in August 13th, and by the time this article was written, Melissa Nathan had already been representing Drake for 2 years? This would mean that Melissa Nathan had been representing Drake since when? 2013. I know a lot of stuff have already popped up in y'all heads, but trust me, we're gonna take it one step at a time. This information showed me that this series is gonna have to be probably 4 parts, because we're gonna take this one step at a time. Okay, now we know that Drake has been represented by Melissa Nathan since 2013. Let's move forward a little bit though. Interestingly, Nathan works with Hiltzik Strategies, a New York PR company that lists toxic NFL, Ray Rice, and Bill Cosby as clients. Oh my goodness. And then it reads what it says on their LinkedIn. Hiltzik Strategies is a strategic communications and consulting firm representing influential companies, organizations, institutions, and high-profile individuals. The firm works across a broad spectrum of industries, including media, entertainment, sports tech, publishing, finance, retail, real estate, public affairs, education, consumer goods, B2B, and philanthropy. With offices in New York and Los Angeles, Hiltzik Strategies provides a wide range of high-level communication services, including strategic counsel, crisis management, corporate positioning, profile management, message development, media training, media relations, brand building and repositioning, and content creation. So clearly, the people who become the clients can get these guys to do whatever they're asking. They clearly have multiple things that they do, but that's not the point here. The point is that Melissa Nathan has been working with Drake since 2013, and that raises my eyebrow on a lot of things. And we're going to cover one of those things in this video right now. Another reason we need to apologize to Meek Mill was because I'm very sure, right, that the things that Drake is accusing UMG of doing for Kendrick is because they did it for him versus Meek Mill. I was there for the Drake versus Meek Mill situation, okay? And that was a time where if anybody found out you had a ghostwriter, that was like committing suicide in hip hop. Real talk. You having a ghostwriter, somebody writing your verses, was a death sentence. So one of the main things that was confusing to me about this battle was how, one, anybody was accepting Drake diss tracks after just finding out that he had a ghostwriter, right? I guess people wanted more proof. When Meek Mill had provided that proof in his diss track, I'm thinking, oh, it's over. That's a kill shot, right? It's like in battle rap. Like if somebody provide the fact that you got a ghostwriter or provide the, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that automatically wins a battle, because anything you say is void. But what happened was you got on the internet, and I'm saying the entire internet was bombing on Meek Mill and siding with Drake. It was one of the weirdest things I had ever seen. I remember seeing how the whole internet It wasn't even like half and half, 20 and 80, none of that. The whole internet was bum rushing Meek Mill and anybody who thought Meek Mill was cooking. Facts. Okay? Now, of course, somebody could chalk that up and say, well, it's because Drake had the better song or whatever. And for the longest time, I thought UMG had actually pushed the song so much in efforts of protecting Drake that the sheer popularity of Back to Back is what made people think that Drake won the battle. But what if we take a step further? Now that we found out that Drake has been working with Melissa Nathan since 2013, what if this was the first official smear campaign and PR run that Melissa and Drake ran together on a grand scale? Think about everything that we've learned about Melissa Nathan and that PR firm and what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to protect Drake, of course, but they can't just come out and say, oh, Drake doesn't have a ghostwriter. This is a hip hop thing. So who's to say that all of that wasn't connected? Who's to say that the very first smear campaign was ran by Melissa Nathan for Drake? This would explain all of these memes that just spiraled out of nowhere. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds just piling on nonstop, right? I'm talking articles everywhere, how Drake dominated the battle and nothing talking about the fact that he had a ghostwriter. Nothing. The whole thing was damn near forgotten. It isn't and wouldn't be a surprise to me that since Melissa Nathan and Drake have been working since 2013, that this was the very first smear campaign that they put together in combination with the battle material to make it seem like Drake dominated that much. The crazy thing about all this is Meek Mill tried to tell us back then. Meek Mill was trying to let us know what we know now back then, bro. Meek Mill has repeatedly claimed to be the target of coordinated bot attacks and smear campaigns on social media, particularly during his 2015 feud with Drake and surrounding allegations related to Diddy in 2024. He described the attacks as a smear campaign involving manipulated digital campaigns. That make that whole situation look a little different now, because Meek really been telling people the things that are coming out now about this firm and this PR stuff. Meek Mill might have been talking about exactly that in 2015. And it adds up because Drake and Melissa Nathan got together in 2013, which is another significant year, by the way, but we'll talk about that in the next part. And another thing that makes this make sense, right, is that Drake is actually and has actually been accusing UMG of doing all these things. And it makes sense because everything he's describing that UMG is doing is exactly what they do at that PR firm. It's exactly what they do at the PR firm. It's exactly what Melissa Nathan is known for. It's exactly why her name is in lawsuits all across the entertainment industry. It's exactly why, bruh. Every single thing that Drake is accusing UMG of doing is what him and Melissa Nathan have been doing. And when you look at it from that perspective, right, it's actually genius what Drake is doing, because he's blaming everything on UMG, right? Which in reality steers the conversation away from the real culprit, which is the firm. Now, I'm not saying that Back to Back being as big as it wasn't a part of the reason that people thought that Drake won the battle. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is the thing that did the real damage was the social media smear campaign. That's what did the real damage. It was the memes. It was the continuous nagging of Meek Mill. It was the fact that people were bashing on him forever. The restaurants, everybody got in on it. And I'm not saying that Melissa Nathan is a part of all of that, but I am saying, when, like I said, when you build the bots, when you build the campaign, etc., all these other companies get involved, and then it becomes a real thing, and it becomes a real accepted perception and opinion. Okay, that's what was going on there. It's clear as day to see that, allegedly. But it's clear as day to see that, bruh. Meek Mill was trying to tell people, okay? Now, I also know what people are gonna try to do with this video. They're gonna try to say, well, isn't that what happened with Drake recently? Isn't that what just happened to Drake? No. There's a difference between 100 million people saying the exact same comment under a post, under a quote tweet, you feel what I'm saying? Versus people authentically saying what they had to say about this battle. And there's a whole bunch of context that I will add to that, but we're not gonna do that for this video because we got a couple other parts to break down. And this next part is gonna be, listen, okay? But all I really wanna focus on is the fact that everything that we just learned about this PR firm and their tactics and what they do, what Melissa Nathan is known for, okay, is exactly what happened to Meek Mill. It's exactly what happened to Meek Mill. And when you find out that Drake and Melissa Nathan have been working together since 2013, a significant year that we're gonna talk about, that is alongside the fact, right, that 2 years after that is when the battle with Meek Mill takes place. And when Meek Mill was exposing you for being a ghostwriter, that's when your PR is supposed to be activated. But like I said, they can't just come outside and say, hey, he didn't do that. You got these other posts doing it. There are a bunch of posts excusing ghostwriting in hip hop all of a sudden. And that's how they changed the narrative on ghostwriting in hip hop, from this will kill your career to nobody even thinks it's a big deal no more. They quite literally reshaped the perspective on ghostwriting in that one battle, and it ruined hip hop for the foreseeable future for a while. That's reality, bro. And if you got common sense, you able to see it. Now, based on everything that we know now, bro, it's clear as day, that Kendrick Lamar was rapping to a bigger situation than just Drake in 616 in LA. I think he was rapping to Melissa Nathan. I think he was rapping to the PR firm. And what adds it all together, what makes it connect, is the fact that the people that are represented by this firm, right? We saw the list. The people that are pushing all the smear on them are either A, connected to Melissa Nathan, or B, connected to somebody who's connected to Melissa Nathan. Facts. So when you look at it from that perspective, Kendrick Lamar is almost saying in 616 in LA, that ain't gonna work. That whole idea that you got going on, you feel what I'm saying? And I don't want to spoil too much because we're gonna get into it. But your whole game plan, I can see it. And it's not gonna be enough. And as a matter of fact, it's gonna backfire on you. And that's exactly what happened. Everything that I think that they was getting ready to plan and boom, boom, actually ended up happening to Drake. It was a PR nightmare again. Okay? Now, you can clearly see what's going on today and how it's connected to the things that are going on today as well. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. We're going to keep documenting all the things that was going on in the past and revisit those situations and see, are the things that we just learned about that the PR firm does, that Melissa Nathan does, etc., are what we just learned about, is what we just learned about connected to the things that happened in the past? And once we do that, then we're going to connect that to everything that we see happening today. All right? So, yeah, appreciate y'all, man. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here, you got to subscribe because this series is going to be tough. The next video is going to be, I ain't going to lie, even more surgical, bro. We're going to answer a whole lot of questions that have been out there in the air for anybody that's been on the fence about certain stuff. We gonna answer a lot of stuff in this next video, bro, because this was a bombshell. All right, this Melissa Nathan thing was a bombshell. But like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. Check out my song F Ice in the pinned comments and the description. If you ain't played it yet, definitely go play it. It was a snippet that I played at the beginning of the video, you feel what I'm saying? And thank you to everybody that's been showing love and supporting that. You feel me? So yeah, stay tuned. We about to hit 75K. We might mess around, hit 75K before this video uploads. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I got some I want to do for that too. You feel what I'm saying? So, thank y'all. Love y'all. I wish y'all the best. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all, man.